Mark, I just want to pick on something you said on Tuesday night about recruitment and about the players and how you convince players to join Lincoln. How do you do that? What do you do? What are the tools you use to try and get them to convince them that Lincoln's the place to be?
Okay, giving away all our secrets here. We always try and present to the player, and by present I mean exactly what I said to him. We do a 45-hour long presentation on the club, the city, the well-being. The big bit is around style, formation. The good thing for myself and the club is we heavily profile our players. So when we present to players, we heavily gear a presentation around how aligned our game and their game is. There's a couple of other individual things that are very specific to me that I lean on a lot, which I think are very, very good. I'm not saying I'm very good at the tools we use, and I wouldn't like to share them with other clubs. I have to give the club huge credit because before I came to Lincoln, it was one thing I was really aware of how good they are when they present, how impressive it is, how eye-catching it is. The one thing I always say to every player, and I often say to him, I don't know whether Jez likes me saying this or not, but he does, I say that in jest, is if you don't like our presentation, do not sign for us, because we are everything we say. And if you do like it, fingers crossed and all the stars align and you get lucky with injuries and stuff like that, form's a big thing. It'll be a really, really good fit. But if you don't like anything about what we've shown you, whatever you do, don't sign for Lincoln. Like I will personally drive you to where you want to go in a nice way. So there's a huge emphasis around that presentation, and it's there's nothing to, it's warts and all, everything out there. And then obviously we're open to any questions. Most times people just want to know if they're going to play, and then like we have had players this year who've been put off because they felt they wouldn't get in ahead of the person, or one of the ones was pre-season, was a striker. He was worried because we were 4-3-3, which was one striker, and Tom was the captain. Now Tom's a great player and we're big fans of Tom's, but he literally wouldn't sign because of that. And that's fine, that's the prerogative of the player. Me, when I was a player, I'll back myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. And the player went somewhere else and didn't play at all.
And do you think with players, you talk about that presentation, apart from wanting to know if they're going to play, do you think they take note of that, or do you think the focuses are, am I going to play, and for January, where you are in the league?
League, I would say, I think if you're bottom of the league, maybe. League, I would say no. I think the big thing is style, fit, opportunity, coach developer, all those things where we feel we can really help. As I'm not saying we're better than anybody else or better coaches than anybody else. The big thing for me is the fit and what we can offer them. One of the problems we do have, I find a lot of players choose clubs over club, and I strongly disagree with that. I apologise, I'm thinking about something I've been through. I just had an experience myself where I had an opportunity to sign for a club that won the championship and the club that were runners up, and my club wouldn't let me go to either, but they did let say I could go to another club and they were bottom of the league. I said I'll see you tomorrow, and I backed myself to get a move. I wanted a move, and 6 weeks later I got a move. So you have to look at what's best for you. I always say to players, do what's right for you. You're number one, your family's number one. And there sometimes can be other situations where you might get a player who's got a young child and partner, girlfriend, wife, and sometimes it could be location. It's incredibly complex situation, quite fascinating. And I think players today are very, very different to players of 15, 20 years ago, not in a good or bad way. I think there's a lot more people involved. So when I was getting a move, I made my decision. Now you've got agents, I get parents, family, there's just so many influences. And I'm not saying that's good or bad, but sometimes I feel that the quality of the decision gets diluted.
With regards to, at the moment then, how are things looking? Is there looking likely with deals coming in before the weekend, or is it still going to edge into next week?
Constantly evolving. I keep saying, I think you think I'm joking, but I'm leaving you to go into a recruitment meeting. We're confident we'll have somebody in for this weekend, and we're hopeful and confident that we'll hopefully have someone else in further down the line. But for the weekend, we're confident we'll have somebody with us.
And with regards to the players in and out of the football club, because of the injury situation at the moment, is it about getting the people in before you can let others leave?
That would be helpful. Look, we've had a situation recently where Jamie and Jordan left, and it actually left us very light through no fault of Jamie's, Jordan's, myself, the club's. Jamie's situation was a longer term situation, so you can't keep a player back for a week when you're helping to ease. I don't want to say fix, because Jamie wasn't a problem. He was a really good player for us. We had a lovely conversation when he left, and we wished each other we thanked each other and wished each other well. But you can't hold back for a week when there's a longer term. I'll give you a good example. Danny Butterfield came in, but Danny had quite a long wait to come into the club if Southampton wanted to, and somebody was saying to me, will that affect you bringing him in? And I was like, well, no, because he's a long-term project. It's the same with players, so if I have to wait X amount of weeks, I'll wait. So in moving players on, if we have to move players this week for the long-term benefit of the club, but it might hurt us for a couple of weeks, that you have to do what's best for the club. So I think it depends on each situation. What we're not going to do is I don't know, give me a position, Rob, because I don't want to.
Centre forward.
So centre forward. So we're not going to release a centre forward today, have one or two with us, and wait 3-4 weeks to get another one. We're not going to, and again, because that's detrimental to the club. So I don't think we're in that situation. Where Jamie and Jordan's situations were different. Jordan wasn't playing. I kind of said to him, you're going to struggle to play. We're paying a good salary. He was here till the end of the season. It didn't benefit anybody, and he'd found the club, so it was pointless keeping him back to look after ourselves when the loan club may have said, well, we'll just go somewhere else.
With regards to your other loan players that you've got from other clubs, is that deadline looming now with regards to that option?
I've cut you short, yes.
Is it gone, or is it still got a little bit of time to run on that?
No, I think there's a little bit of time to run that. But look, we've got a superb relationship with all clubs. It's constant dialogue. God forbid if something happened, it's something we're not aware of. We've had, I've personally had conversations with loan coaches. Jez is in constant contact with loan managers, directors of football, sporting directors. So there's no red flags. But the lads that have come in have been brilliant for us.
Let's talk about the football this weekend. Then MK Dons. Is it hard to know what to expect from them with a new man in charge?
Yes.
How difficult will it be to prepare for?
I suppose judging the shape is difficult. I'm boring you now. We always focus on ourselves and how we do. Like, depending on what shape we play, there's obviously little tweaks and little variations of what we might do. But I always try and focus on ourselves as much as we do on other, more than we do on other clubs. That has to be at least a 70-30, 80-20, depending on whoever you're playing. But look, I think Mark is a very highly respected guy. He's joining what looks to me like a fabulous club, a brilliant identity, a brilliant philosophy, stunning stadium, so great foundations. Liam Manning done an amazing job there last year. Liam's a superb coach. I know Liam well. Really sorry to see him leave, but I think the club, with the exception of its position, is a very, very good club with very, very good players. So and I think Mark will do a superb job there.
Is it too easy to say, because of their success last season of reaching playoffs, that they're underachieving this year?
It's a really good question, but it's also a very harsh question, because I can't answer it, because I haven't spoke to Liam since he's left. Liam might have version A, MK Dons might have version. I don't know what went wrong. I can't say. I've got enough to worry about myself without looking at other clubs, and I mean that, not worries. I'm too busy, I should say. But I do think they're an outstanding club.
I know you take it game by game and you get your players too, but do you look at the next month of fixtures and see it as a crucial month because of the teams you're playing being in and around you? Yeah,
look, Rob, I've said that many times this year, and nothing will change, but I am aware. You know, when we had behind this there's a monthly planner. There's one in my room, there's one next door. So you know, every day we walk in, I can tell you what's happening every day for the next month. So you've always got an eye on what's around the corner. But we've had periods of games this year where we've had, you know, you looked at the board and it was like, you know, hands over your eyes. I think we've got a run of games up that we can really attack in terms of the opponents we're playing, but you know, we've lost to clubs below us this year. We've done exceptionally well against teams in the top 10, and I think the league doesn't allow you to get ahead of yourself. The league doesn't allow you to get carried away. It always keeps you on your toes. Morecambe a few weeks ago, I think they won 2 and 22. They've won 3 in a row. Broughton have been on an incredible run. Then they got beat 5-0. It's just a tough league, and if we're not at it against anybody, we can come up unstuck. And likewise, if we are at it against anybody, which we've proven this year, we're a tough team to play. But yeah, it's a run of games we're looking forward to.
And just finally, Ben House and Sean Rowan, are they going to be players you'll leave till quite late to make a decision on?
Yes.
Just waiting to see, I guess, a bit with the situation that they're in.
Yeah, look, so Matty's black and white. Matty's going to be out for a considerable amount of time. Ben and Sean are big players for us, and they've got really minor things. It's about assessing that, working out risk assessment. Sean actually had a fitness test for the Accrington game and didn't come through it, so they're very close. But again, it's about what looks right long term and what's good for them. It's not, you know, I'd never ask somebody to put themselves in a position which is detrimental to their health or their well-being. It's something I wouldn't do. But you know, they're so near yet so far, basically. But it's a constant monitoring with them.